I did a recent video about culling a cow and putting her in our freezer, and I've had so many people ask me about, is it worth it? Do you save any money? And how much meat do you actually get? I'm going to explain to you how much meat we actually got and whether I'm happy with it or not. You're going to want to watch this video because somewhere in here I might let it slip on how you can get a great deal and possibly save a considerable amount of money. So watch to the end. Some people would be really shocked when they find out that you only get between 60 and 64% of that animal. And that means if you butcher a 1,200-pound steer or a cow or a bull, you're only going to get about 750 pounds hanging weight. Now by the time you add in some shrinkage, which is from the hanging, that's evaporation, and some loss from bones, and by the time you get all of your cuts separated out, you're going to be surprised at how much you actually do get. This is just one of 2 freezers that we have full of beef. And the amount of meat that you get actually varies. And it can vary according to breed or age, obviously the sex of the animal, and the cuts of meat that you ask for. Now, obviously a dairy beef or a dairy animal is going to produce a lot less meat than a beef animal because they're bred to produce milk. And the younger animals, well, they spend the early months of their life building bone and building a frame to carry that heavy animal. And generally speaking, females are usually smaller than males. And then again, if you ask for cuts of meat like ground beef that are off the bone, well, you're going to feel like you got less because there's no bone, so it's going to weigh less. And while they're making the ground beef, they obviously cut the meat from the bone, so I'm storing less bone in the freezer. We got about 560 pounds of meat from a 1,200-pound cow, and I couldn't be happier. If you do the figures, that comes out to be just 47%. Well, and part of that is because she was an old, fat cow, and so we had a lot of trim or fat loss when they trimmed the meat. We also asked for mostly ground beef, and that's important to me because we're limited on freezer space right now. Now, if you're going to ask me, is it worth it? Do you save money? Well, I did do the figures, and it came out to be about $5.39 a pound if I were to purchase this animal today off of the market. But I didn't buy this animal. She was born and raised here on our farm. So it really didn't cost me that. I also paid a little bit extra, a couple $100 more, to get into a processor who actually does the shrink wrapping on the steaks and the roasts because I really wanted to try that. And they also hang the meat for a full 2 weeks, which was important in this situation because the animal was a lot older than our usual steer or bull that we process at 1.5 years. So I did mention I did the figures based on if I had to purchase this animal, and I didn't purchase her. But had I purchased her, that's what it would cost, $5.39 a pound for the animal and the processing and everything included, which may not sound like a savings to you, but prices are high right now. And also I wanted to mention that processing a cow, well, those costs can vary by a lot. So make sure that when you're making your appointment, that you ask, how much do you charge? How much per pound? Is it based on the hanging weight or is it based on how you wrap it? There's so many different reasons where they can slide in an extra cost that you want to make sure that you've got a good idea of what it's going to cost you before you take an animal in. We also asked the processor to make this into mostly ground beef because, well, due to the age of the cow, and I didn't want a freezer full of tough meat, and we use ground beef more. It's so versatile, so we always run out of hamburger long before the roasts are gone. Now, on average, you can expect to pay between $400 and $800 for a processing fee to process a whole steer or a cow or a bull or a full-size animal. Another thing that I wanted to mention is if you're prepared to do this, if you're prepared to get a whole beef or a side of a beef or even a quarter of a beef, be prepared to pay up front. Now, the farmer, he wants his money when he turns over the animal to you. And the processor will want to get paid when you pick up the beef. So be prepared to put out that money for that animal when they're delivered to the processor. And then it's going to be a couple weeks before you get your meat. So the whole process does take some time. A couple other things I wanted to mention, that we do ask for the heart, the liver, and the tongue. And those are not cuts of meat that we enjoy, but I do process that and can it, and that's part of our dog food so that they can have a special treat too. And another thing that I wanted to mention, you can ask the butcher for the bones, some of the bones. I mean, obviously you don't want all of them because you would be overwhelmed. And I didn't ask for them this time because I was so limited on freezer space. But I have received like a couple of garbage bags full of bones that they've cut into the right sizes for our dogs. And I throw them in our smoker, and then I'll bag them up afterwards and freeze them, and the dogs get a treat here and there. Now, if you go to the store and buy those bones for your animals, that's going to be a lot of money. I've seen $7 and $8 just for one smoked bone for a dog, and we've got 2 dogs. And as I mentioned, this cow was a little bit on the fat side. She's definitely enjoyed her pasture time and getting a little grain here and there. But so they had to trim quite a bit, I'm sure. I could have asked for a lot of that fat so that I could make it into tallow. I didn't do that this time because I was so limited on time and freezer space that I just couldn't swing it. So they trimmed it appropriately to what they thought was going to work for us. And in the past, I've gotten hamburger that was so lean that you had to add butter to the pan just to be able to fry a hamburger. But this time, I think it's more like a 85-15 or an 80-20. So I've got some fat to work with, which is good because we've got a Blackstone grill. And you usually have to put some fat down, otherwise it's going to stick. So by actually having a fatter cut of meat, that's actually going to work really well for us. Now, when the processor calls you and tells you that your beef is ready, be prepared. Make sure that your freezers are empty and clean, and that you've got a couple of coolers, especially if the trip is going to be longer than just a few minutes. Now, on winter days, it's not going to matter so much, but here in the blast and heat of summer, you want to make sure that your meat doesn't thaw before you get it home to the freezer. You'll also want to bring a couple of pairs of gloves. Now, when you're handling that much meat and you're loading it from their boxes into your coolers, your hands can get quite cold. And we're talking about a large volume of meat, so make sure that you are bringing the appropriate tools. Coolers and gloves are a must-have when you're going to get your meat. And one more thing that I wanted to mention, it's really helpful if you can be organized when you put your meat away. Now, we've got one entire freezer of just ground beef, and that makes that pretty easy. But the steaks and the roasts, when they get all jumbled together, it's really easy to lose some steaks behind roasts and think that you're completely out. I use my roast mostly in the wintertime. I'll cook it often in the crock pot or slow roast it in the oven, and they're just delicious. But it's something that's kind of seasonal. We use more steaks and hamburgers on the grill in the summer, so plan accordingly for that. After all, you've got a big investment in this. If you decide to do it, it's a lot of money that you're going to have to put out all at once. So make sure that you stay organized and keep your freezer in good shape so that you've got a good idea of what you have. So am I happy with the beef that we got? You bet I am. And the truth is, if I was to be buying this beef right now with the prices the way they are, would I be filling my freezers? Probably not. So here's the secret that I was going to let you in on. If you can wait until after the first frost, because most farmers have had their cattle out to pasture all summer long, but once the frost hits and the grass stops growing, they're forced to start feeding hay. And at that point, a lot of farmers take their cattle to market. Now, if everybody takes their cattle to market at the same time, it almost always forces the price down. It's just basic supply and demand. So if you're ready and willing and able to purchase a beef at that time, you're likely going to be able to save a whole lot of money. So hang in there because you might be able to get a great deal. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. I hope to see you again soon. And if you've enjoyed this video, watch this next.